Hey y'all, thanks for coming back to watch another video. This time I'm going to tell some archery stories. Bow season's open. I'm going to throw together a little bit of archery stories here. There's going to be tangled up, mixed up, and man, there's just so many stories with archery. I'll probably be jumping around a little bit. So be patient, try to stay till the end. But the main thing is just get through the intro first. Let's go. Alright y'all, I hope you stuck through the intro and you're still here watching. I got a feeling at least a few people are. Like my grandkids. My daughter. So I moved to Springfield after I got married, left the country, went to the city, moved in with my best friend from high school. He was living with a couple other guys. One of the guys I went to high school with, the other guy I didn't really know. I'd met him a few times partying or whatnot, you know, with my best friend who lived up there already. Well, I get moved in, and the guy that I don't really know that well, he wants to start bow hunting. Well, I didn't have a compound bow anymore. I had actually sold my compound bow when I was 17. I sold it. I went to California with another buddy of mine. That's a whole nother story. So I get to Springfield, no bow. Now my best friend, he had a bow. He bow hunted a lot more than I did. And my new friend, he didn't bow hunt at all. He had no experience at all. So his best friend was a bow hunter as well. So I went and got a bow. I bought a high country. The new friend, he went and got a bow. I can't remember what kind he bought, you guys. I think it was a bear bow. It's here and there, it doesn't matter. Well, we had been going to a archery range, but it was like a 15-minute drive, 10 or 15-minute drive. And I come up with this bright idea. You know, we got this big backyard, real nice fenced in, 6-foot tall fence, you know, big privacy fence. Had slats on both sides. So I'm thinking, why don't we just put a target back there? You know what I mean? There's no way that our arrows are going to go through this fence because it's got boards on both sides. And so everybody's like, sure, why not? So we went and bought some targets, and our yard was just long enough for a 20-yard range, which was good just to practice, you know, just to wear out your string and tear up some arrows. Perfect distance for that. Well, we didn't know that our arrows would go through that fence. So we're back there practicing one day, and I can't remember exactly who missed or what happened. But one of us had missed that target while we was practicing, and we seen the arrow go through the fence. And we're like, holy crap, I can't believe the arrow went through the fence, right? So we just kept shooting. We didn't think nothing about it. We just kept shooting. Figured the arrow would be right outside the fence, just laying in the yard, no big deal, right? No biggie. So we keep shooting, and when we get done shooting, we go look for this arrow. So we go outside the fence, we're looking for the arrow. We can't find the arrow nowhere, right? We're looking in the grass, we're looking in the ditch. The street's right there. It's probably, gosh, 20, 30 feet from the fence is the street. Then naturally right across the street is a house. And the way these houses sat, our house sat just a little bit higher than the house across the street. It was like at the bottom of the hill. You know what I mean? So apparently what had happened was this arrow had went through the fence, and because of the elevation, because of where we was at, it never hit the yard. It never hit the street. It landed in that neighbor's yard across the street. We could see it sticking up once we started looking past the yard, you know what I mean? And so my buddy, he runs over there and grabs his arrow, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't me, but it could have been. Thing is I did shoot through the fence a couple times myself, and the bad part about that is my arrow stuck. My arrow went across the street and stuck in the neighbor's house. Hit the house and stuck into the wall. Right through the vinyl siding. But luckily no one was home, so we run over, pulled the arrow out. Nobody ever said nothing. Nobody knew about it till right now. But we decided that wasn't a good idea. We couldn't be shooting like that and sending arrows through the fence, especially since we couldn't see cars coming by, people standing in their yard, you know. So after a few arrows make it through the fence, and we realized that the fence isn't going to stop our arrows, we have to come up with a different plan, right? Well, me being from the country, I just didn't think right, I guess. You know, I don't have that city thinking mentality. But I noticed that on the other street, straight in front of our house, was a house with a great big front yard. Real nice spot for a shooting range. So, you know, I thought you never know unless you ask, right? So I went over and knocked on the door and asked this woman. It was an elderly woman, really nice lady. She answered the door, and so I asked her if there was any way we could use her yard to practice shooting our bows. And to my surprise, she said yes, that her husband and boys also shot bows. Now, I think her husband had passed away, because I never seen the husband. And we was over there pretty much every day after that for a little while. Well, the thing is, her yard was perfect for a 20-yard range. And if we missed a target, it was big enough that our arrows would land in her yard somewhere behind the target. No other houses in danger. But if we went back over to our house and got up under our carport, it was a 40-yard shot if we shot over into her yard across the street. So I gotta say, it was legal to shoot your bow and bow hunt inside the city limits at this time. So we wasn't breaking any laws by practicing in the city. But, of course, we started taking that 40-yard shot, which basically went all the way across our front yard, over the street, and then into the target in her yard across the street. And she had one of these great big tractor tires in her front yard that had flowers and whatnot in it. So we would set the target in front of that tire. That way, if we shot low or to the left or right, usually the arrow would hit that tire, just bounce off, hit the ground. We started shooting across the street. Which was pretty fun. One of us would watch for traffic while the other guys were shooting. We'd just switch in and out, you know what I mean? So we start getting pretty good. We're putting a plastic soda cap on our target, and that's what we're trying to hit at 40 yards. Because if you guys have heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 100 times. Aim small, hit small. So we get all this archery stuff done. We get our bows tuned in. We're sighted in. We're hitting the bullseye whenever we feel like it. I mean, we're dialed in. We're ready to hunt. So we decided to go hunting. And it was early bow season. And we had went to a place called Shell Knob, which is a waterfowl refuge that allows archery hunting for turkey and deer. So we go up there for our first bow hunt. This place was awesome. I mean, there was deer everywhere. Great big old barn. It was an old farm with the original settlement on it. Great big old barn, and they had a big barn owl nesting box inside this barn. So you could just stand and watch these owls going in and out. It was really cool. Well, I don't drink, but one of the guys had some hot damn, I believe it was, some of that cinnamon liquor. And we were in a van. My buddy had borrowed from his boss from work, right? So we're in this van. We're just going to camp out in the van. It's a cargo van. No seats, no nothing. Just wide open. So we find a place to park at the camping area. And of course, you know, we get there and everybody's got tents set up and campers and RVs, and us three are in a van with no beds or nothing, just a cargo van. Well, I never thought about mosquitoes. You know, we're at a waterfowl refuge, and I didn't even think about mosquitoes. So we end up, you know, going to bed. We all go lay down in the van. We're going to go to sleep. Well, I don't know if somebody opened the window or what happened, but I woke up about an hour after falling asleep. Man, I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes, right? And so are the other two guys. We're all getting eat up by mosquitoes. So somebody left the window open or something. I don't know. I don't know how these mosquitoes were getting in this van, but they was getting in there. So I figured, what the heck? Let's drink that hot damn, you know. Get a good buzz going, pass out. Mosquitoes won't even bug you, right? So my buddy, he breaks open that, I think it was a pint. Yeah, it was a pint. He breaks it open and we're all taking turns swigging this hot damn. And before you know it, I'm pretty loaded. So I went ahead and laid back down, passed out. Well, them guys stayed up. I don't know how long, but I went to sleep. And I didn't go to sleep. I passed out. So I wake up rolling around the van. You know, I wake up and I'm like bumping off of stuff and like, what's going on? They're like, nothing. Go back to sleep. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I just go back to sleep. So my alarm goes off 4:30 in the morning. I'm in the van. My alarm goes off. I wake up, turn my alarm off. I'm looking around. I don't see these other two guys. They're gone. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, did they go hunting without me? Surely they didn't. It's like an hour and a half before daylight. There's no way they're out there hunting already. So I grab all my stuff and get my hunting gear on. Man, I got mosquito bites all over me. You know, all my leafy wear, my camouflage. Grab my bow. and I'm getting ready to go hunting. I figure I'll just catch up to them guys later. Open the door of the van, get out, and I'm sitting in the driveway. Apparently mosquitoes got too bad for these guys too, right? So when I passed out, they decided, let's just go back home, right? So I woke up ready to bow hunt, get out of the van, and I'm standing in my own driveway, decked out in camo. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm a little aggravated. I go in the house, wake up my buddy. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why are we back home? He's like, oh man, you got drunk. We couldn't wake you up, tell you that we changed our minds. I said, well, that's not how you do it. You're not supposed to change your mind once you're already there. We got to tough it out. That's why we was drinking the liquor, so we could all just pass out. And well, the thing is their tolerance was much higher than mine. So it was going to take a lot more for them to pass out than what it did for me. And so I didn't realize that, you know what I mean? So I decide, whatever, let's go hunting. So I get him up. I'm like, get up, we're going hunting. He's like, we can't go back. It's like a 2.5, 3-hour drive. It's like, no, we ain't going there. But we're going to go hunting somewhere around here. Where's the conservation area? He's like, I know where one is. We can probably go bow hunting. So he gets up and he gets dressed. We go jump in the van. And we go bow hunting. Now, neither one of us got anything. But we got up and went, mosquito bites and all. So the first trip me and him went on was not that good. But we had many trips after that were success. And one of the bow hunts with him was in the same place I had my Bigfoot experience. And at that time, I hadn't had that experience yet. That experience is going to happen like a couple years later. But when we went to his buddy's grandpa's land to hunt, we both got a deer that day. And so from then on, it was on like Donkey Kong. Bow hunted almost every weekend for the whole bow season that first year, man. We was doing everything we could to go bow hunting. And eventually, these guys and myself would start going to a place called Bunch Hollow. Now, I've already told some stories about Bunch Hollow. You can look through my videos and find it, I'm sure. I think I've told a couple. And that's the place we went every year to go bow hunting, the first week of bow season. And then we would always go back the last week of October to bow hunt. And I can't tell you how many times I called first buck, you know what I mean? I'm going to shoot the first one. I'm going to shoot the first one. But yeah, we had a lot of good times at Bunch Hollow. So many cool stories from Bunch Hollow. One of the best Bunch Hollow times I had wasn't even so much about the bow hunt, but about the guys that was camping next to us. So we had been going to Bunch Hollow for about, this was probably like the 4th year we'd went. And we always went to the same camping spot every year because it was the only one that was open. And it was right by a great big old field, and then there was a open grassy field, and then there was another field that was all soybeans. It was just a good spot. You could literally sit in the camp and shoot deer in the field right at camp. Now there's another camping spot that was just like that too. And that camping spot was actually just on the other side of the woods of the field across from the original campsite. There was a little strip of woods, and then there was another field and another campsite, and we would camp there sometimes. But this particular campsite, the first one that we started using all the time, this older man and his son was there with an Airstream. And they showed up after us, because we would always show up the first week of bow season. We always showed up the day before season opened. So we'd got everything set up, and then this Airstream pulls in, and they start setting up. And we've never had no one camp beside us, you know, the years before. So, you know, it kind of surprised us, but it wasn't that big a deal. Well, come to find out, this guy and his son had been bow hunting there for way longer than us, and this was their regular site. And the years that we had been camping there, they were camping at other campsites, so we never seen them. They decided to come back to this one. We met them, great people, and of course, all night I'm talking smack about how I'm going to shoot the first deer. It's going to be a buck. It's going to be a great big old buck. Well, it wasn't a great big old buck. And as a matter of fact, I have a picture of that particular hunt and the deer that I killed that morning. So I did kill the first buck right at daylight. Now I'd shot it and got a good shot on it. I actually hit the heart, lunged it, one lung, sliced through the side of the heart, straight clean through shot. As a matter of fact, my arrow stuck into a cedar tree right on the other side of this buck. When it passed through him, it stuck right into a cedar tree. Well, this buck, he jumped a little bit, you know, it kind of flinched and kicked. And he looked back at where the arrow went through and he licked it. And he just started eating acorns. And I was like, there is no way I missed that buck. So I'm just watching them and watching them. I get my binoculars to zoom in on them, you know, see if I can see blood coming out of the wound, you know, the entrance wound. I can't see blood coming out of the entrance wound. And I think it's because of the elevation and the angle of the arrow. So the arrow hit a little bit high in the lung, right? I had to angle it to hit the heart. So I aimed a little back and high. So when my arrow hit that buck, it come out low on the other side. Well, I couldn't see anything on the other side. I couldn't see no blood or anything. I couldn't tell that the deer had even been hit, really, until he walked away from that tree. Now this buck's acting like he never got hit. He walks away from the tree, and then I can see my arrow sticking in the tree. And so I look at it with my binoculars, and I can see that my white fletchings on the arrow are not white. They're reddish brown color. So I knew I'd hit it. But I couldn't figure out why this deer wasn't, you know, acting like he'd got hit. I'm thinking that the broadheads were just so sharp and that bow was shooting so fast that to that deer, he got bit by a fly or something. You know what I mean? So he didn't react like he'd been shot at all. Well, he walks broadside probably 15 yards and then turns dead away from me and starts walking. But then he only goes about 10 yards and there's this big old dead tree. And he gets right on the other side of it and lays down. So now I'm like, oh, he's hit, right? He's definitely hit. He's laying down. He's hit. So I'm waiting, and I wait about 10 minutes. I'm thinking, man, should I get down and, you know, go after this deer? And my brain's telling me yes, but my gut's saying no, just wait. Keep waiting. You know, if I double lunged him, it's going to take, you know, at least half an hour maybe. If he lays down, I don't know. right? I wasn't going around lunging deer back then, so I really wasn't sure how long it was going to take, but I knew I needed to wait. So I waited about 20 minutes. But the whole time I'm up in the tree, this 20 minutes, I'm on the radio, two-way. I got one. Anybody else get one? 720, I shot mine. Everybody says, you really got one? You ain't messing with us, Cooper? No, I ain't messing with you. I really got one. Big buck. He's a giant. At least a 10-pointer. Now, honestly, you guys, I got goosebumps. Honestly, you guys, when I saw that buck, when I first saw him, he was huge. Giant, right? I was like, oh, that's a 10-pointer for sure. That's a big buck. But I knew not to stare at the horns or I'd get the fever and I wouldn't get a good shot. So I seen them, I seen horns, then I just focused on the heart, double lung, something. I just wanted a good, clean shot. And because of the way he was turned from me, I didn't want to mess up and hit his front shoulder, hit the shoulder blade, and miss that heart shot. So I figured if I let him turn a little bit, and I just hit him at that angle through the lung, the arrow would pass right through and come out the armpit on his other side. Arrow placement was perfect. But because of the way the deer reacted, I thought I'd missed. Well, then I see him lay down, so now I'm getting my confidence back that I got a good shot. I don't know what to do. So I'm on the radio tormenting these guys. And finally one of them's like, I think it's been long enough. Climb down and see if, you got a good shot on him. See if he's done. I was like, all right, I'm climbing down. So I got my climbing tree stand and I worked my way down like an inchworm, I get down the bottom of the tree and take my harness off and got my bow and an arrow ready. And I'm sneaking up on that log. Now that log's about 30 yards, 35 yards, because the shot on him was a dead 20 yards. That cedar tree was a 20-yard marker tree that I had already lasered with my rangefinder. So I knew that cedar tree was exactly 20 yards. So I got a perfect 20-yard shot on him. He ran, well, he walked. He walked 10 yards away from me and laid, so like 30 yards. So I'm sneaking up on that log. I'm thinking, he's just going to be laying there piled up. And this log's huge, you guys. So I get right up on the log. I'm ready to draw my bow in case he jumps up, and he jumps up. And I couldn't get my bow drawn back quick enough. He jumps up, takes off running straight down the hill of this old creek bank. And I seen him jump down in the creek, and I saw his head, because once he jumped in that creek, all I could see was his head and horns. And I seen him turn and go down the creek. But then I lost him. I couldn't see him no more. So I was like, nope, I'm not chasing them. I knew better to chase them from rifle hunting. If they get up and run, just back off and give them a minute and wait. So I get back on the radio. He took off. He jumped up, took off running, but I seen where he went. I got his blood trail. So where he had been laying by that log, he was bleeding out. But he had laid on the entry side, so that was up pretty high. So he was doing more internal bleeding than he was bleeding out, but he was leaking a little bit. So I had a trail, and plus I seen where he went. So when one of the other guys showed up, which was also a very good tracker, me and him tracked a lot of deer for the group and other people at that particular conservation area during bow season. There was always somebody tracking a deer, and we would always help. So I knew he was the one I wanted to help. I let him know. He shows up. I show him the log. We're on the blood trail. We go straight, follow the trail straight down to the creek. We get down to the creek. We're looking. I said he jumped in the creek and went down the creek a little ways. We get down in the creek, and I'm telling you, this creek had like 4-foot banks, you guys. So we climb down in the creek, basically. It's dry. We start walking down the creek, and there he is, piled up. Now remember, I've told everybody this thing is humongous. Humongous. Giant. Well, it was a 5-pointer. It had 3 on one side and 2 on the other, I think. I don't know. I guess you guys could probably tell in the picture, right? My hunting spot was the closest spot to the camp. So we dragged the buck back to the camp. We hang it up, we skin it, we get it put in the cooler. Well, the whole time we're doing this, we're thinking everyone's out hunting, no one can see us, right? We were wrong. So the older fella that had showed up with his son, and I didn't even know he had a golf cart. Apparently there's a golf cart somewhere and I missed it. But he had got his golf cart, drove straight across that field across from our camp, and climbed up a tree right there. So he was watching us. He wasn't 100 yards from where we was actually at. He was in a tree watching us do this. And he knew that I'd talked a bunch of smack the night before because he was there. So he climbs down out of his tree, and that's how we knew he had a golf cart, because that golf cart was hidden. But then all of a sudden we see this golf cart coming across the field right towards us, and we're thinking, that's weird. Game wardens don't drive golf carts. Because let me tell you guys something. So this area, you're not allowed to take motorized vehicles off of any gravel road, any marked road. Because there was like little tractor roads and stuff for the fields, but those are not marked roads. So you were not allowed to ride a 4-wheeler, dirt bike, anything, your truck. You couldn't take nothing down those roads unless you was one of the farmers that was taking care of the crops for the conservation department. Well, I guess golf carts, because they're electric, don't count. I don't know. But this old boy never got in trouble. And a game warden did show up. He didn't say nothing to him. Well, that old timer, he comes back to camp. Who got it? I said, I did. He's like, hot dog, you won the bet, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, but it's not as big as I thought it was. He's like, yeah, that'll happen, ground shrinkage. And that's the first time I'd ever heard that before, ground shrinkage. I'd never heard that before. So, definitely had ground shrinkage. We get that deer hung up. Well, later that day, the guy that was with me, he got one. Now, he got like a big 8-pointer, I'm pretty sure. And he dragged it back, so it made my deer look bad, you know. Mine looked tiny compared to his. But I still got the first one. And that's really all that mattered to me. I was sweating bullets, worried I wasn't going to be the first one to shoot one after talking smack all night. Well, the old timer got one. As a matter of fact, before the weekend was up, everybody had harvested a whitetail. Now, not everybody got a buck, but we all had deer meat in the cooler. So we end up loading up and heading back home. We take our deer to the processing plant, get them processed, you know. So we had a lot, and I didn't really feel like cutting all of them up. Because them other guys, they didn't know too much about the butchering part. And I wasn't screaming really loud about knowing how to do it neither, because at the time I could afford to take it to the butcher and have the butcher process it for me. So that's what we did. We all took it to the butcher and got them processed. Bunch of deer jerky and everything made, right? Well, the next year we went back to the exact same place, and that old boy and his son did not show up. But that's the year of the ghost buck. That's the year that there was like 7 of us. The guy that was the good tracker, he brought a couple guys from his work with them. Now, we didn't really know these guys, but I could tell right away one of them was kind of windy. And the first morning, sure enough, it's raining. And I mean, it rains hard. So I don't even go, you know what I mean? I didn't go out there to get sick or get soaking wet. I didn't need to kill one opening morning. I knew I'd get one before the weekend was up. I'm in my tent sleeping. I think it was like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. This guy shows up back in camp. He's getting everybody up, wanting everybody to get out of their tent, go chase after this buck. And I knew right away it was a ghost buck. But I've already told that story, the whole story. So you're going to have to go back and look through my videos and find it. It's in there somewhere in the deer hunting stories, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure you can find it. You know, we hunted that spot for years. We hunted that spot until we got tired of game warden harassing us. And that story's on here too. Bunch Hollow game warden story. Boy, that guy. I don't know, man. So what we did was we started going back to Shell Knob. And when we started going back to Shell Knob, we would wait until October. So we would hunt my buddy's grandpa's land or private land until October. Then we'd go to Shell Knob, try to get a big one. Never did. I never did kill a big deer out at Shell Knob. As a matter of fact, I don't think I ever killed one at Shell Knob. Everybody else did, but I never did get one there. But I didn't care. I didn't care. I enjoyed going. And that's all that mattered to me was hanging out with my buddies, camping, having a good time, joking and cutting up, and just hanging out in nature. I never sweat it. When the mosquitoes was attacking us, I tried to squatch it. And I jumped up out of that van to keep on keeping on. Let's go. No matter what, even if your buddies wuss out on you because of mosquitoes, don't sweat it. Don't give up. Remember, if anything's bugging you out there, you're having a hard time, get a hold of somebody. Don't try to keep it to yourself. Call a friend. Call a family member. Go to church. God bless everybody out there. And do me one big favor. Don't sweat the little stuff. Squatch everything in between. Keep on keeping on. God bless. Peace.